Today we're going to show you how we made a honeycomb wall shelf.
I put together these easy hexagon shelves with no nail gun required.
We were wanting to fill this wall space beside our easy DIY Murphy bed. Video is coming soon for that. It was just a totally blank wall. I wanted to have some accent shelves, make it an accent wall, and maybe put some plant shelves on it.
I'm really new to woodworking and I found this project to be very simple, and I tried to simplify it even more. So if you're interested, follow along. I started by applying a protective finish to the wood. I used this Minwax water-based polyacrylic. It has an easy cleanup and just provides a simple finish to protect the wood. I gave it just a couple of coats and allowed about 3 hours to dry. I used 3 pieces of 4-inch by 8-foot pine. I looked for straight pieces with attractive grain patterns and really like how they turned out. I then set up my miter saw. If you like my mobile miter saw stand, check out April Wilkerson's design and build, linked in the description box below. This stand is probably my favorite thing that I use. I then set up a stop block to give me consistent cuts on each piece. I built several different sizes of the hexagon shelves, so I moved the stop several times. I then adjusted my miter saw to make a 30-degree bevel cut using the bevel adjustment setting. You definitely want to make some practice cuts on scrap wood to try to get your angle as close to 30 degrees as possible. I then made sure my eyes and ears were protected and started cutting. I cut my pieces, making sure to flip the board each time to get the angles facing up on each end. 6 consistent boards will give you 1 hexagon. I then laid out each board flush against each other with the angles facing down against a straight edge and applied 2 strips of painter's tape to the 6 pieces. Next, I applied Type Bond Quick and Thick to each angled face before joining the boards together. You then start at one end and roll the pieces together. I'm not sure who the smart person was who came up with this method, and I've seen it used by several others. It works really well and provides an easy way to do an initial join of your shelf. I then wiped away all the excess glue and used my Bessie strap clamp to add pressure to the glued joints. I left this for several hours and came back to a strong assembly. On a couple of the hexagons, my angles did not join perfectly, so I used some wood filler to fill the gaps and sanded it after drying. I wanted these shelves to mount flush to the wall, so I cut a recessed area with a straight bit on my router. There are several ways you could do this on your own without a router, and they don't have to be mounted flush. I also just really wanted an excuse to use my new router table that I just built. Check it out in the card linked above. I then wanted to install a horizontal piece in the middle of one of the hexagons for some variety, so I measured and cut a piece to size and glued it into place. Next, I installed some sawtooth hangers in the recessed area, making sure they were directly in the center of the piece that they were going on, and prepared to mount the shelves. Julie and I then laid out the pieces on the floor to get a general idea of how we wanted the honeycomb shape on the wall. We then mounted the first shelf and used a scrap piece as a spacer to give us consistent spacing on each shelf. I used a drywall anchor and screw to attach these to the wall, making sure to keep the shelves level while spacing and marking the next shelf. After all the shelves were hung where we wanted them, Julie added a creative touch and this project was finished. Thanks for checking out our honeycomb wall shelf project. Hit the like button and subscribe to see more DIY projects and recipes that we do in our home.